What's good with it? Lucky Lefty Podcast. As you see in the chat, luckyleftypod.com is up and live. We'll be adding merchandise on a weekly basis based upon some of our best sayings, some of our best conversations, some of our best guests. I think the next release next Friday is going to be our Misguided Passion. We are going through designs right now, with trying to get a clearance on public figures. Jack Swarbrick, I want to make sure he's a public figure. Then we're going to do the priority list strictly from his email. Where does national championships fall on that list? We can be petty, Left. We could be petty and have fun with it. Great to see you guys. Friday night prime time. The Onora boys are in the building. We're brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, we have to have the Good Stewards t-shirt. We got to.
Got to.
Us. And if you're going to drink responsibly. Left.
Yes.
We reveal a new segment that we open each show with. It's called The Leftovers. The leftovers will come from the comments that we get after every show on the YouTube page. And the leftover for today, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, that you can hear each and every day on YouTube. Smash the like button. Apple Podcasts and Spotify at CFB Nation exclusively. Lock in to CFB Nation now. Go there for the audio edibles every day. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Leftovers today. Are we still debating the Michigan receivers and the Notre Dame receivers?
Oh man, we still going through this?
I've yet to have anyone give me a proven receiver in the Notre Dame wide receiver room.
That's right.
I've seen people try to trash Roman Wilson. I've seen people try to trash Ronnie Bell. I've seen people try to trash Cornelius Johnson. Give me one proven receiver that's a dog in the Notre Dame wide receiver room. Just one. Give me one. And then LL question of the day. And I need you all to keep it 100% funky. 100% funky because we're previewing the wide receiver position today going into fall camp.
That's right.
How confident or is your confidence in the Notre Dame wide receivers elevated because of Sam Hartman? If Sam Hartman wasn't a quarterback, would you feel less confident in this Notre Dame wide receiver core? LL question of the day. Let's keep it 100. So, Left, your response to the leftovers as we start the show.
Yeah, what I love is that at the end of the day, we as a fan base love the importance of what our wide receivers are going to look like with Sam Hartman this next season coming up. So that's why we have a little arrogance when we're talking Michigan receivers, because we just don't like Michigan. But we believe that the talent that we have in the room is going to show itself to be better than Michigan this year.
That's fair. Which goes to the LL question of the day. Is the confidence for the Notre Dame wide receivers more about Sam Hartman, or is it more about the receivers? As you said before, Sam Hartman comes in, coming off 3,700 yards. By the way, Left, I did watch that North Carolina State game last night. I saw what North Carolina State did.
Okay.
I saw what they did, Left. I saw what they did, and it's very interesting. We can tap into that in the second half of the show after we preview the receivers.
Hey, I like that we're doing film work now because we
gotta do film work. I told LL Nation I was going to tap into his worst game last year, North Carolina State. has a very good linebacking core, and their secondary is elite, and it's elite in this year.
That's right.
So they gave Sam Hartman problems last year. We're going to dig into how they were able to do that.
Right.
Right? Give me, if the wide receiver core is going to produce, blank must come to the forefront.
If the wide receiver room is going to produce, what must happen in order for it to come to the forefront? I think it's going to have to be a threat from the receiver position on the outside. We need to, because we know Chris Tyree is going to be a big target this year. He's a veteran. He's what Avery Davis was for us in these years that we expected him to be. But the threat is going to have to come from the outside. We're going to have to see a JT by himself, single side receiver when we go 3-by-1, win some one-on-one matchups. You got Tobias Merriweather, the big play guy. He was caught 2 passes last year, 2 touchdowns. Not enough, but we need to be able to see that production be even more with a guy who's turning receivers that couldn't make it to Notre Dame into 1,000-yard receivers. So it's definitely an opportunity for these guys to pose themselves as a threat. If you can be more imposing as a receiver threat than what we have in our run game that is strong already, I think that's what's going to make that transition. But that's going to have to come with a lot of production. We got a guy, and what we hope and what we believe in, Sam Hartman, that can bring that production. But can Sam do that in a new offense, in a new system, and a new elevation of play and competition week to week? That's something that's to be seen, but also worked with Jared Parker, who's trying to expose the offense more in the passing game. He's highlighted what he wants to do better than what Tommy didn't do the year before, and he's really passionate about making it look different. But the unfortunate thing is it's still Tommy's system. So how can Jared Parker extend this by the time we get to week 8, week 9, week 10? Can he form this into his own thing? We know early on we're going to have a lot of the similar things, but as the season goes on and as the team develops, you're going to have to be able to put your stamp on it. And Jared Parker can't be a Tommy Reese lookalike. He's got to be his own man by the time we get towards the end of the season, going into hopefully the playoffs. But for us, the one-on-ones have to be it has to go from 50-50 to at least 70-30, 60-40. We have to win those one-on-ones. That's what's going to make the receiver room a bigger threat. And then on third down, them loading the box and just playing as press man.
Chancey Stuckey spoke about the talent and the newest addition, Chris Tyree, and what he brings to the wide receiver core this spring.
He's such a veteran presence, and he's not like anyone we've had in our room. You know, he has great acceleration. He's shown great hands, and he's picked it up so fast just because of the knowledge that he has. You know, I was expecting a bigger curve, but you know, by practice 2 or 3, you can see, hey, this dude can really help us, and he's really bought into learning. And he takes coaching. You know, he's very cerebral, but he's brought an element of speed, an element of short area quickness, you know, that we didn't have in the room. So he's been a great asset.
Yes. Based upon what he just said, how much more variety can he bring to the offense if he is one of those unguardable slot receivers that can do everything?
I think it's a good outlet. I think it's a good outlet in terms of balancing, you know, your big plays on the outside where you have more one-on-ones as opposed to your go-to mismatches on the inside with a guy like Chris Tyree, who's so versatile and is going to be able to show him and highlight why he's so important to this team in his 5th year as opposed to his other years, is because we're not just putting him at running back, put him in a position to be a mismatch. And in that slot position, him having the run after catch and having that skill as being a running back, that's different than any other slot that we've had, especially receiver, because when the ball's in his hands, he knows what to do with it on a consistent basis. So putting that guy in the slot to be able to do some things in a one-on-one situation, you're really in a good position for him to be able to help a guy like Sam Hartman create opportunities to extend drives and be able to be a third down specialist, which is probably what we want to be able to look at him as. I mean, him to be able to take handoffs on reverses, and then be able to take screens, be able to run the football in between the tackles, and be a mismatch for linebackers, being that he has good speed and size. This is an X factor for a guy like Sam Hartman, who can use him as a security blanket, but then also look for his explosive plays on the outside.
I think he brings an element, and this is just for me watching him in practice. He is super quick, left. Now, I think he can be a piece on the interior that can dictate. And what I mean by that is if he truly becomes acclimated to the offense, and that's meaning being on one accord with Sam Hartman as far as being able to read coverage, teams are going to be really hesitant to bring pressure because that's going to what we're going to talk about with North Carolina State. North Carolina State brought so much pressure against Sam Hartman, but they only had a three-man front. So the pressures were coming from like all over the place. Wake Forest offensive line is nowhere near as talented as Notre Dame's offensive line. We understand that. However, the talented Notre Dame offensive line still struggled at times with the Ohio State defensive line last year up in Columbus. So, and like you said, they have 2 first-round defensive linemen projected that are coming back this year. So it's going to be a task to handle that defensive line of Ohio State. But it's going to be very interesting because I believe teams, as we said on yesterday, because of the wide receiver core not being proven, are going to try to pressure Sam Hartman and force Notre Dame to beat man-to-man coverage. Beat us. Show us you can beat man-to-man coverage. Make us back up. You're not going to run the ball. Make us back up and show us you can hit us with big plays, and then maybe we'll go to different coverages. So it's going to be very important. Navy did that in the second half of the game. Of course, we know Drew Pine was the quarterback last year. But second half of the game, Navy just said, look, we're coming after the quarterback every play. We're blitzing 7-8 every play. We don't believe you can beat us. And that was that. It's very interesting that in speaking with Irish Breakdown, Marcus Freeman was talking about the wide receivers. And not even Marcus Freeman could identify who a guy was going to be. He said it's going to be a group effort. See, I don't want to hear that coming from my head coach. At some point, who's the dude? Tobias, he's in his second year, but then you hedge. He's still a young player. He's still learning. So, look, who's the dude? Who's the dude? Deion Cozy. He does some things. It's like, man, everybody does some things, and it's going to be a collective effort. Who is going to step forward and be the dog in this Notre Dame wide receiver room? You muted yourself, bro.
And yeah, that's the biggest mystery of last year. That's the biggest mystery of this year, is being able to identify, because at the end of the day, in order to win championships, you need dudes, you need guys that are him. And for instance, for us, we have a room full of guys with potential. And what potential, unfortunately, is some people may never reach that potential. We do know that in the receiver room, we have a coach that can expose and can give an outlet for guys to be able to express their talent. But at the end of the day, we can't look in that room and have a bona fide guy that we can depend on day in, game out yet, that we know of, partly because we didn't have a guy that can get the ball to him like that. And secondly, the fact that, we have a bunch of recruited talent that we believe is good, but the outside doesn't understand or doesn't know. So for that being the biggest question mark, it's hard to put or identify anything in particular that you would be excited about in our receiver room, other than the fact that we got guys that are highly recruited and guys that are hungry. And usually when you get a combination of that, you'll have some good results, but it's also space and opportunity, room and opportunity for a guy to leap out there and be that lead dog. We feel like JT could be that guy, but at the same time, JT doesn't have that personality as a number one receiver either. I mean, he's a very good complementary receiver, but that's all of our receivers as of this point. Either guys coming off injury, guys that hasn't gotten enough action, hasn't gotten enough experience, hasn't got enough production his way. So at the end of the day, we got a collection of guys that are wannabes, want to be the number one receiver, want to be great as a room, want to be good as a unit on this team, but it's still yet to be seen, which is, something for Sam to really, dive into. It's a lot of untapped potential. I think it's great for opposing scouting defenses because you don't know what you're going to get until you see the film. And unfortunately, that film is going to be short no matter who we're playing because it's only a couple of guys that, or even have more than 30 plays that have some action other than them blocking. So it's going to be a good mix of mystery. But for Sam Hartman, you got to jump on it because other teams don't know exactly what you're going to roll out there in terms of receiver talent. So for a guy like Sam, I would feel really confident just because of the fact that, okay, I know more than what other teams are going to know about my receiving and passing game.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they know, it's going to be too late. That's why I have to get good with them now because other teams and everybody that we're going to play is going to be playing catch up. Who's going to be the guy we got to focus on because they all about the same from a production level. They don't have a Charlie Jones we can identify off bat and spend a week or two, especially with most of our big games being bye weeks before. It's going to be hard for a team with a bye week to be like, okay, what receiver? Because right now, all of them are decently good. They just use guys when they need them. So how do we prepare for a passing game like that? So I think it is in one hand, a positive thing, but also interesting for a guy like Sam Hartman to choose his best guy. Yeah, Chris Tyree is a guy that we know is a great mismatch and a great compliment in this offense, but this is his first year playing receiver. We like him with the ball in his hands. Can he catch and run at the same as what a receiver is used to? I mean, we've had Amir Carlisle, CJ Sanders take this ride experience.
Mm-hmm.
Davis try this out, and we've had guys that we've liked there, but we haven't had guys that we love there that's been doing the most that they can for us.
But Marcus Freeman says there's young talent, and Chancey Stuckey echoed that back in the spring. Like, yo, this is the standard, and then here's the talent.
That really sticks out is Tobias. Making such a big jump from last year to now and challenging him. It's like all the work last year mentally, because he has the physical part that he's made huge strides and he's become a leader for us. So watching him has been great. As you get to know the freshmen and seeing how they respond, okay, what kind of buttons can you push, and, what motivates them, it's still an ongoing process, so we have 3.5 more months to really get ready, and now they know the standard going into the summer and then into the fall, kind of what's expected and the tempo of practice and the standard of the room.
You know what? I am confused. Learning the mental side. Left, what does that mean? Because for a wide receiver, football is football, bro. Right? Like, route trees, I understand that. But if you got a speedster that can take the top off, Jalen Hyatt ran 2 routes last year for Tennessee as a junior. Left. As a junior. 2 routes. Got to the league. Josh Heupel didn't ask him to run the full route tree.
And I think that's just knowing who you got, knowing who your talent is. And a guy like Jalen Hyatt in the Tennessee offense is very dangerous. But a guy like Jalen Hyatt in a Texas A&M offense may be a different type of production. So that goes to what fit, why fit matters. And for our receiver room, what's the fit? What's the identity of the receiver room? I have no idea. Are we a team that Or is a vertical stretch team that has length and speed, or are we a team that is a possession receiver that got many different route options that we can run? Are we a team that's just a call it and haul it, and just run deep and catch the football? Are we a quick game team? What type of receiver room do we have? We just have a bunch of guys that are talented. That has to be hashed out, because when it comes into the game, you need specificities. On 38 versus a team in a particular defense, you need a particular way to beat them with a particular guy that runs a particular route that's better than the guy that they have covered.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just throw a guy that just does everything. It's attention to detail, something that we learned from Brian Kelly, but at the same time, in a position like this, for us to be able to identify the talent, identify the roles in that receiver room, I think is going to be important if we want to be efficient. It's one thing to have a bunch of talent to roll out there. And I think, for us to have a bunch of mismatches, we got highly recruited guys. But when it comes to fit and style of offense, we don't even know what style of offense we got.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Parker's a smart guy, I heard, but hell.
Like in the interview with Irish Breakdown, Marcus Freeman said, when you have Michael Mayer one-on-one, damn everybody else. That's pretty much what he said. That was like, if Michael Mayer's one-on-one, we're going to him.
And that's because we have more than that. Tobias one-on-one is a problem. Hell, the way Braden Lindsey was talking, he might have been made ESPN top 10 or something like that crazy. So we're not a team that's dependent on one guy, which I think is just the biggest misconception about Notre Dame, is because we play as if we have featured one dude. We have dudes. So that's what I'm hoping Jared Parker does, is turn the offense and and what we do on offense from it being centered around one guy like a Michael Mayer or Josh Adams or Will Fuller, and turn it into an offense where it's like Kansas City. They can just plug in a guy and he'll appear in some game where you like, man, he's making an impact. That's the team that we have offensively, in my opinion, is a team that at any moment, any guy that we have can have a big game that day. Tyree can have an explosive game. Jadarian Price can pop on the scene. We know what Aldridge can bring. We know what Tyree is expected to pop on the scene in that slot position. We don't know he's a number one. Deion Closley is a great supporting receiver. You got freshmen that can make an impact. So that's what we want to expect. We want to expect somebody to pop every game. Not just, we only have Michael Mayer. We had more than Michael Mayer last year and couldn't find a way to open that up. So that's what Jared Parker has to do. You have the abundance of having a quarterback that's experienced enough and knowledgeable enough to know that, we're not just a running team. Find ways to expand and increase that point total, and you're going to find yourself in good position with guys being highlighted for the talents that we're recruiting. Maybe it'll look better on the recruiting trail when multiple guys are catching the football. We have guys in award standings for positions that people paying attention to. Nobody's paying attention to the tight end of year of award every year. They're paying attention to Biletnikoff, who's the best receiver. In the room for the best receiver of the year. Damn, I'm not even asking to win it yet. Can we get a guy in the room,
can we get it in the room, right? Can we get somebody on the semifinal list? You know what I mean?
Excited about, we may not have a Devontae Smith, but we got a guy that damn near, you can't not put him in the room. He may not be, give us a Charlie Jones for a season where we can hype, because I'm telling you, anytime you're at Notre Dame, you can be half as good and get on an award list and make some motion and have some attention if you half as good. So we just got to expose that through production, and one of them receivers got to do it, because if not, we should fire all of them. Get rid of all of them. If we can't have a top receiver in the amount of guys we bringing in and have right now, we should fire and get rid of all of those receivers, because it's Notre Dame. Give us another Michael Floyd. Give us a Will Fuller. Give us a Golden Tate. Give us a, DeVars Daniels if he was, give us somebody we know can lead the pack. If not, get rid of all of them because what are they good for?
Well, you talking like an NFL owner right now. Look.
Get rid of all of them. But I mean, we're good at giving out scholarships, giving out 4-year degrees.
I mean, they are 1-year renewable scholarships, technically. You saying you have some real transfer conversations with cats?
Marcus Freeman wasn't afraid to tell the quarterback that's starting for Alabama, look, we're getting somebody better in the middle of the season. He's had the courage enough to tell a recruit that was committing that day on campus that we're not taking. If these receivers that are coming in and not producing, why not? We're looking for a number one. Kenny Minchie called up the school. Kenny Minchie called up the school and said, I will be your number one. That's what we need from the receiver room. That's what we need. Somebody. I mean, yeah, JT's great, but damn, JT, you're in year 4. We needed that in year 2.
It's year 3 for JT, I believe.
So you feel like year 4. That's the problem.
Year 3 for JT.
Year 3. That's a long
Him
time.
and Deion Cozy.
That's a long time. So for me, identifying.
Why Notre Dame is notorious for that, bro? Like receivers like year 3, year 4, all of a sudden having breakout years.
Well, a lot of it is due to the quarterback. I think when the quarterback got his guy, we look good. When Ev had Tyler Eifert, we look good. When Tommy had Michael Floyd, we look good. When I had Will for the short time, hell, we was really good.
Heck, we got Ben Skoranek to the league and a Super Bowl ring.
And that's the problem. I'm tired of benefiting guys more than they benefiting us.
Him and Javon McKinley
just man,
Like, where was this your first 3 seasons at Notre Dame?
See, but that's the thing. Notre Dame, unfortunately, has taken a lot of guys that are projects in those positions, guys that aren't, quite defined but have a lot of potential, aka Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool still didn't know what football was, and we took him.
Hey, happy birthday to Chase Claypool.
Yeah. Shout out Chase Claypool. But yeah, like, how much can you get out of a guy that is coming from Canada and doesn't know the rules of all football yet his first year? So, as expected, he blows up his third. And I think that's something that we've been proud of and on a development scale. But hell, we don't have to start from zero with all these guys either.
Right.
We took Miles Boykins, who played tight end in school, and turned him into a receiver. But what about him just being a 5-star receiver? We can start from there. We starting from literally ground zero with some of these guys. And that's why they're popping on the 3rd and 4th year, where recruiting has to be better, where we got guys that are more ready-made, that can fit faster into a system, that can fit better into what we're needing on a production level. And then, damn, we maybe not have to see guys pop on their 3rd and 4th year and they leave on their 3rd and 4th year. We have younger guys popping on the scene in their second year. Jadarian Price is a kid that should have been being like, wow, who is that? Who is that? He just got there and he's making plays, making flashes in the running back room. That's what we should be saying, not, damn, this is his 3rd year. We're expecting him to start, expecting him to play, expecting him to be a leader, but have no idea if he can do it or not. We have no idea about our offense. Zero. It's a makeshift, put together, transitory bridge program offense. Make believe. Because it ain't Jared Parker. Jared Parker ain't going up there saying, I'm putting in the Jared Parker plan. Absolutely not. He said, I am doing what Tommy did, but better. So how far can you even get with that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it's not far.
Yo, Lucky Lefty Pod. Let's get to what some of the fans right here on For the Culture Friday think about this. When we talk about the confidence they have in the wide receiver room, Coffees for Closer says confidence is high because of Sam. Yes. If it were TB, medium confidence, potential is great. What is that? Cricket? I have always loved the Notre Dame wide receivers. The problem was the quarterback. It is about Sam Hartman setting a new standard for the quarterbacks moving forward.
I don't think so. I
And
think Sam
see,
is the
see
outlier.
this, and see this is you see this is what we talked about yesterday, and where we pushed back. He also said Sam Hartman would determine who the dudes would be. That right there is something that Marcus Freeman pointed out that Sam, the last week leading up to this blue and gold game, pretty much had found his guys. And Jaden Greathouse might be one of those guys, right? That's practice. That's a spring game. Nobody's scheming. Nobody's bringing different pressures. Nobody's showing these young receivers things that they haven't seen. This is totally different. This is something you've seen all spring long. And you go out there and you practice. So I can rock with that. But what we push back on is don't tell us being a dog and a wide receiver has zero to do with who your quarterback is, bro. College football is littered every year with dogs and wide receivers that produce with terrible quarterbacks. Charlie Jones produced with bad quarterback play at Iowa before he transferred to Purdue. We don't want to hear that. You go back, Ronnie Bell didn't make his name with J.J. McCarthy. Ronnie Bell was making big plays with Cade McNamara at quarterback. A.D. Mitchell, who transferred to Texas from Georgia. Stetson Bennett. You can say what you want to say about Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett isn't a five-star quarterback, first, second, third. Stetson Bennett was a game manager, a darn good one. A darn good one. But he was a game manager. That's what he was. That's what he was. Quentin Johnson was a dog for TCU. A dog with three quarterbacks, three different quarterbacks. He was a dog. That's the question I have left. If our wide receiver room is going to be determined by who the quarterback is, then what are we talking about? Michael Floyd came in with Dane Chris and was a dog. Immediately. Will Fuller became a dog with Tommy Reese at quarterback. Tommy Reese wasn't a 4 or 5-star quarterback. Will Fuller bust on the scene.
Yeah. Will Fuller made Tommy look better.
Hey, dude, do you not think? Come on, Left. Let's be honest. Can we be honest for a second? Mac Jones is an okay quarterback, bro. Mac Jones is not an elite NFL.
He's a very, very average quarterback.
He's an average to above average quarterback whose wide receivers made him look better than what he really was.
Come on, when the last time we had a Heisman receiver? Yeah, exactly.
The Alabama receivers made Mac Jones look a whole lot better than what he really was. Now you see him. You see him on the Patriots now without talent. What does he look like?
A regular.
What does he look like? I'm just saying. When is Notre Dame going to get a receiver that walks on the field and says, these dudes can't stick me? Just throw the ball up. Get it to me.
Exactly what we're looking for. Because those guys are guys that are recognized nationally. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, right? Guys that are recognized. Mike Evans in college. Dudes, Guys that when you turn on the TV, you're not waiting to the second half to catch the game. You going into the game waiting to watch the game. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Georgia, a beautiful display of why having a number one receiver matters so much. Because no matter how good the other team is, he's going to get the ball. Devontae Smith showed you how special he was the first time he got in the game in the national championship, scored the game-winning touchdown. He wasn't even the best receiver at that time on the roster, but he showed you that he was a guy. When is the last time a Notre Dame receiver?
Yo, we lost left. What the heck happened? There he is. He's back.
When is the last
You
time?
scrambled out of the pocket, dog. Stay in the pocket.
I don't know.
I got you. I'm shuffling, bro. Stay in the pocket.
I have no idea, but but when the last time we can get a guy like Will Fuller that can step on the field and then everybody in the stadium be like, "Ooh, who is that?" They scrambling through the program, be like, "What number is that?" That's the last time you really get a chance to see how special an offense can be when you got players that can change the game in one instant.
Yes.
Will Fuller was changing the game. It's like, okay, it can be tight all game. But all it takes is Will to get one play, turn his whole game around. Look at the screen against North Carolina. Even though we lost that game, that screen set us up. We didn't have the defense at that time, but man, he's taking a screen to the house in one play like that. Changing the game. The one play versus Trey Waynes is still memorable. It was just a regular go ball, but everybody remembers that play specifically because it was against the right person at the right time, the right play. When are we gonna find that guy as the X factor for us? Tobias had a taste, like the Chinese stores in the mall. They give you the little samples. They had a taste, but it wasn't enough for a meal. It was just enough to be like, man, that's interesting. Man, that's a. I might have to come circle back around after I visit Cinnabon, because you got to visit Cinnabon. That's the go-to. But it's just one of those things. If we can have one, Kyron was a glimpse of what Tyree can be in that slot on a consistent basis. Go ahead, load the box, pressure us, load us up, man us up, press us. We got that one-on-one in the slot where a linebacker is just not going to be good enough. And I don't think the linebacker is going to be good enough for Tyree sitting in that slot or even a safety, because he's little and he's quick and he can catch the football. Kyron can catch the football pretty well, but he was more running back. Tyree can do both and be more versatile because he's quicker and he's smaller. So any linebacker, any safety in that one-on-one when they're loading the box, preventing the run on third and short, I'm looking to Tyree. I think that's going to be a huge staple for the offense, and a guy like Sam Hartman, who throwing it in the middle of the field is a huge advantage as opposed to the outside. That's why we love our tight ends at Notre Dame. That's why we love our slot hybrid type of players, is that we're able to create those mismatches in those areas, and most teams don't have the talent to cover that. Now, when we're playing Alabama, Georgia, they got the talent. So we're going to have to really put our big boy pants on and find a way to be able to get through it. But for a guy like Sam Hartman, he's smart. He knows well enough that, hey, running backs are the most open person on any pass play, and also that our mismatches against linebackers are way easier than having a DB versus receiver on the outside. It's a further throw, tougher competition, smaller space. But for Tyree to be in that slot and be such a threat as an X factor and be consistent, we just asking for a guy to be consistent. We didn't have Avery Davis with Jack Cohn. We didn't have Avery Davis with Tyler Buckner. We didn't have Amir for long enough, or CJ Sanders for long enough, or Chris Fink long enough for Brandon Wimbush or Ian Book to take advantage of why the slot is special. just like the tight end, but the slot is a guy that's quicker, can extend the field better. And so for us, Chris Tyree will be the X factor in that slot position for those one-on-one matchups on third down when they're loading the box and playing as press man. The easiest throws are in the middle of the field. That's why we are tight end you. We have the better tight ends versus those linebackers we're going against. But Chris Tyree adding into that factor is going to be a huge game changer for a guy like Sam Hartman looking to get the ball out of his hands. He's not a guy that's going to create plays by running around, thinking he's more athletic than some of these DNs and D linemen that we're going to be playing. He's like, look, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in getting the ball out of my hands, knowing who I can trust, who I can go to. And Chris Tyree is undeniably our greatest matchup in the receiver room right now, and we'll see how it develops throughout the season.
It's interesting because I stepped away because I had my sister. She stays nearby, man. She went and got me she ran the Pete's Market, Fresh Market for me, dude. Didn't have a chance to make dinner before we did the show Prime Time Left, and she went and bought me a nice little pot roast dinner. Not a little pot roast dinner with some mashed potatoes. It's waiting for me after the show. So shout out to my baby sis Jasmine. I call her 20 because everybody says we're twins, even though we're like 20 years apart. Yeah, my parents were wild for that. Don't even ask me. Don't even ask me. They had twins 20 years after I was born. It is what it is, boy. They kept pops. It is. Woo! But you're right. Chris Tyree. As I read the chat, though, people see, this is my thing. People hear something, and when they hear it, it's fine not to agree. That's fine. But in agreeing or disagreeing, make sure you hear what is said. We understand that quarterback, Sam Hartman, marriage to the wide receivers, all of that. You're missing our point. Dogs at wide receiver produce without great quarterbacks. And the point is, the confidence that everyone has is confident or higher because of Sam Hartman in this wide receiver room. That's the point. Nobody would have the same confidence in this wide receiver room, no matter how talented they are, if it was Tyler Buckner as the starting quarterback. Period. Your elevated confidence is not because of the talent. It's not because anybody has proven anything. It is strictly because Sam Hartman is the quarterback. That's our point. That's our point. There is no one in that wide receiver room, a la Michael Floyd, who walked on campus and it didn't matter who the quarterback was. He was a dog. No one. That's our point. So we can talk about marriage between quarterback, wide receiver, all of that. You don't have that. You don't have a Will Fuller. Can one be developed? Yes. Does Tobias Merriweather have a world of talent? Yes. Can he go off? Yes. Can one of the freshmen go off? Yes. But as it sits today, you don't have one. And one didn't show up in spring practice. I was there. I literally watched. Did I not say this? Did I not say this? I literally watched Notre Dame force feed wide receiver receptions all spring long on social media. I went to a practice and literally watched Benjamin Morrison shut down every single receiver with a chip on his shoulder, man to man for a full practice. So tell me where the dog's at.
Yeah.
Because a dog would have went back and forth and got him a couple of times, and Ben would have got him a couple of times. Every receiver, every rep, he locked them all down. And
think about it.
Was chirping and
we
telling
lost
the
a receiver that turned into a DB at another school.
Dude, he was
So
chirping
where
and
the
told ND
receiving dogs
Media.
at?
He told ND Media, make sure you post that. He said it twice. Post that. So this is what we're saying. We're not saying Notre Dame doesn't have the talent. We very well understand the marriage between quarterback and wide receiver. But who can walk into a national championship game in overtime as a true freshman and just get 10 yards behind the defensive back like Devontae Smith did? Because I saw the Devontae Smith comment. Are you saying Devontae Smith would have made Drew Pine better? Heck, we ain't had nobody that could do that as a true freshman in a national championship game. They can just walk on the field and be a dog against Georgia. Where's that at? Show me. Where? That's all we're saying. That's it. And we're trying to get you all to understand that your confidence is not because of the talent. Your confidence is raised because of the quarterback. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. In order for Notre Dame to get to the next level, you have to have a dog in the wide receiver game. Georgia, their dog is their tight end. That's their dog. They do it a different way. Their dog is their tight end. That's it. Alabama, their dogs are their wide receivers. And when you saw Alabama's wide receivers drop balls consistently last year and not make plays, everybody started looking at Bryce Young like, yo, what's wrong? And Bryce is like, look, bro, I hit him in the numbers. What else do you want me to do? What else do you want me to do? Right? Great example. Didn't I got Bruce Feldman talk about this? Clemson recruited the wide receivers at a crazy level.
Yeah.
The wide receivers just haven't produced.
Haven't.
Talented, recruiting stars, they're not dogs. They haven't found one in the last 3 cycles. And it's hurt them on the football field. We can talk about talent all day in that wide receiver room. Where are the dogs? Where are the dogs? That's it. And as we told you on yesterday, you'll see September 23rd, hopefully, who steps up.
Yeah.
September 23rd, you'll see who steps up. Right?
Which is what it is.
Because as wonderful as we said, when we previewed the quarterback room, Sam Hartman is an 8-month rental for 3 games.
How much can you really get excited about? You know, it's not a Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had 2 years. This is a squeeze the last out of him that we can get. It's just premium juice. How much we get is the question.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, we don't need nothing but a third. Give me a third of a cup. 3 games. We ain't asking for a 12-game schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need all that juice because we got enough here. We just need an extra little juice for them 3 games. So we can't evaluate your season and look at it as the standard because you just got here. And you learning just like our young guys are learning. There's no foundation. that we have this season, the foundation is what Gino Guidugli is doing with Kenny outside of this. This season is just like, look, this is an example of our coaching and what we can coach on the fly. This is not a reflection of our development of our program. This is a reflection of what we can do to hold the boat until we can get our guys in and develop them the way we want to. So it's like a fire sale. You know, we're looking to buy the down of what the stock is going to be in Marcus Freeman's case because he's banking on 24's class, 25's class, the success of this makeshift year and what it can do for recruiting. That's what he's depending on. Marcus Freeman's not selling himself on saying this is the championship year. I hope not. Because he'd be lying. He know them sweet spot years was 24, 25, 26, you know. Them the championship years. This is the year to prove, hey, I'm legitimate. I have an actual thing going on where you can see the vision. And we can go far because we put the right pieces in the places that we need to win. But at the end of the day, we still need a guy to get us them 3 games. And that's what Sam Hartman is for. So Sam Hartman is not a Jack Cohn situation. Because Jack Cohn wasn't the number one quarterback coming into the transfer portal. Jack Cohn was a guy that we gifted, blessed, divine inspiration. The man was knee deep on the bench in Wisconsin, and we called him just like Keaton Slovis. He would have been another one. Sam Hartman, I feel good about because we actually won, and he's worth winning. Nobody wanted Jack Cohn more than us, but I'm sure there's some teams that could have used Sam Hartman just as bad as we could have used him, and that's what I feel good. It's a small victory. Because he's a rental, he's an old dude. He probably won't run around saying he graduated from Notre Dame. Wake Forest is his home, and we okay with that. We just need to come do a job. You know, it's like our toilet's messed up. Damn it, call Sam Hartman the plumber. Just call him to fix the toilet. We ain't asking to live in the house. Just fix the toilet, and we be straight. We can run our party later on. And that's what he is, a contractor.
Just don't fall into a stupor like the plumber on Martin, bro.
Yeah, just don't do nothing crazy. Just don't make it worse. But if you come fix our toilet up, we're gonna have a good time. And that's exactly what he should be looked at. He shouldn't be looked at as no savior. You don't hire the air conditioned dude during the summer and be like, man, you are a savior. You expect him to just come do his job. Just come do your job, air conditioner man. It's hot in the house. Make it cool in the house. That's it. You going through a tragic breakup and all this, crazy stuff is none of my concern. Come fix the dang AC. Sam Hartman, come fix our quarterback inefficiency. Just make us efficient and productive at the position. We're not asking you to win the Heisman. That's what we got our young guys for. Carr, Manchie, Deuce Knight. We want them to win the Heisman. You just here to hold us together. And we appreciate that. We ain't going, at the end of the day, this is also not the standard in which we want to carry ourselves. Deuce Knight is more the standard. Carr is more the standard. So, Gino Guidugli is going to be essential this year in bridging that gap between what we're doing now and what we're going to be doing in the future as it pertains to how we can get better. How can we get better watching Sam? Because Sam's just getting better because he's at a good spot. We fostering Sam's career. We're giving it life. We're giving it relevancy. The quarterbacks we got in the tank give Notre Dame relevancy. It's a difference. Sam can't do nothing more for us than just win out. The highest he can get is winning out. But we not wearing Sam Hartman jerseys around campus. What? He's not one of us. This man got Dove commercials. He's worried about other things. but his talent can get us through. His talent can help the offense. His talent can feature the offense as the premier unit on the team that can win games at the spots that other guys are winning games. We're not winning in the right spots. We can win in a recruiting battle, but can we win in the right spots, the spots that matter? Can we win in the quarterback spot? Can we win in the Heisman type of receiver spot? Can we win in the recruits that matter? Sam Hartman can give us a exposition of what our receivers can look like at Notre Dame. An attractive piece for a Deuce night. Damn, I thought they just had Tobias, but shit, they got Salerno. They got Braylon James, Jordan Grayhouse. They got some young dudes. They got some older dudes. Sam Hartman walking into a plethora. That's Sam Hartman's word of the year. Plethora. He got a plethora of talent. An abundance and plethora of ability at the receiver position. Plethora. The offense has a plethora of first-round ability. He walked into an emaciated Wake Forest and came into a plethora of talent. PLE plethora. That's what Sam's dealing with. That's why Sam didn't go to the NFL, because he said it was a greater plethora of talent at Notre Dame than any NFL team I could have tried out for. The plethora. That's what's going to be on the back of his jersey, not Hartman. Plethora. Because any quarterback in the position right now is receiving the plethora of resources, the plethora of opportunity and competition. That's his nickname, Plethora. Sam Plethora. You must take advantage of this. And I think this is the best opportunity for this is like, you know, a stranger. We got a stranger in the position of quarterback right now. This is a guy off the street. This ain't the hometown hero Ian Book. This is a stand-in. You know, I do the background acting in LA. and they pay good money for you to stand in for the main actor. You know, the actor want to get food, you know, go hang out, but you got to have a stand-in for the placement for the cameras. This man, Sam Hartman, is a stand-in for the placement of the quarterback of Notre Dame. He's a stand-in, a side character, getting paid as the main actor. His films are making Sundance, not the movie theaters. He's a Sundance film artist. You're not going spending your money like you're going to see Avengers Endgame. This is a Sundance competition that he's in. A placeholder. This is a masquerade. He's just an example of what the position can be. A token with a plethora of talent. That's what Sam Hartman is. A token with a plethora of talent. And a stand-in. He's not homegrown. He didn't grow this man. We went to the farmer's market to get this man. He was grown somewhere else. And we reaping the benefits. Kenny Minchie, Steve Angeli, Carr, Deuce Knight, hopefully. These are the guys that we need to be putting in these positions. Sam is just going to show you how you can take the most advantage of it. What Donald Trump say? I didn't create the tax code. I just took advantage of it. I'm just showing you how you can get around it. It's not illegal. I'm just showing you what y'all put out there and how you can maneuver around. That's what Sam Hartman is. He's Donald Trump in the tax code. He like, y'all mad at me not paying taxes? Y'all made the rules. I'm just looking at the rules. He's the outlier. So Marcus Freeman is looking this to be a success this year with a placeholder. Because you go to Rent a Center. You know how you go to Rent a Center? You got to give it back. It's called Rent a Center. You renting it. You got to give it back after 9 months. After you throw your big parties and your quinceañeras and stuff. You got to give that big old nice couch back. It's not yours. Sam is not ours. He's the placeholder.
Ooh, Left, you cooking tonight, boy. It's a fish fry tonight. It's a Friday fish fry right here on Lucky Lefty Podcast. No Notre Dame fan. Look, I have not, I cannot, I'll say this. I have not seen, what that other publication posted as far as a picture. So I don't know. But the fact that they want to, it's a joke. See, once again, it's Notre Dame people, man. It is funny. Because according to people, I just double checked with somebody, Blue and Gold has posted a picture of Al Golden at a St. Ignatius Wolfpack basketball game. Woo! He went to 1. I went to 7. So what's the point? The point is, in the open period, he saw Justin Scott, the most important recruit, 1 time.
Yeah, I was watching US.
Okay, he saw him once. Ooh. This proves that he went to see Justin Scott.
And see what I learned from
And the words, wait, Left. I'm not even about to get into a debate. I'll take the words of the coaches of St. Ignatius football team that said there could have been more done. His coaches said that. You don't have to argue with me. You don't have to, we're getting tired of people lying on Al Golden. The coaches were underwhelmed. And frankly, Justin Scott was probably underwhelmed. So you want to post one picture at a basketball game. What the hell is that? He probably was there with Tommy. Who was the Chicago guy?
Notre Dame forgot where they.
So you trying to clean? They trying to help. They trying to help Al Golden. Wait a minute. They trying to help Al Golden. Like Al Golden's recruiting right now is on fire. Help me understand, because we can go beyond Justin Scott. LL Nation, how are you feeling about Al Golden's recruiting right now as a defensive coordinator, as it currently sits in a 24 class? Talk about it. I don't need to talk about it. You talked about it. Talk about it. How are you feeling about Al Golden's recruiting right now? Since people want to sit up here and defend his recruiting efforts with Justin Scott. Bam. 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 It's not us. These are the fans. Publication. These are the fans.
But you can say that. But the unfortunate thing is, you can say that about most of the
Come
staff.
on, man. That's a joke. That's a joke.
What's our guy? What's our safeties coach name?
Their response is a picture at a basketball game, bro.
What's our safeties coach's name? What's his name?
Say it again.
The safeties coach's name. What's his name?
Chris O'Leary.
Chris O'Leary. Great dude. He's not no great recruiter. He's not no great recruit. But you got to look at the staff itself. This is a Marcus Freeman problem. The reason why Marcus Freeman became the lead recruiter is because he acknowledged that his recruiters outside of him wasn't going to get the job done. He knows that. Why you think he's flying on jets every other Wednesday? He knows that Chris O'Leary's not securing the recruits that are needed to be recruited. He knows that. He knows Al Washington. That's why you think we made such a big deal out of Marcus Freeman telling Al Washington, get back to work. Get back to recruiting. Stop spending all this time talking to these reporters. That was 2 years ago.
Mm.
He was saying that because he was being for real. He was foreseeing the Justin Scott 2 years ago. Hey, get back to recruiting. You wasting time. So Marcus Freeman is taking the lead recruiter for a reason. He know he recruited a guy that wasn't serious about college football recruiting. Al Gold wasn't serious. So Marcus Freeman is being the lead recruiter to be able to make up the lack of recruiting effort by the coaches that he brought on to staff. And that's fine. But for how long can that happen? Because you can't get them all. I watched USF press conference. Alex Goulash, Tennessee offensive coordinator last year with Jalen Hyatt, since we talked about him. They actually planned. The defensive coordinator literally, Todd Orlando, met every single defensive recruit. Mm-hmm. So that tells me other staffs plan for the defensive coordinator to go meet the guys they recruit on defense. And this is USF, the worst defense in college football last year. USS's defense was ranked 130th. And they, as a team, had Todd Orlando, the defensive coordinator of that team, go out and see every single defensive recruit. And we can't get Al Washington to see the top recruit at all?
Left, it's not even that, bro. It's the fact that people are going to so great lengths to post one picture. One picture. And let me eradicate. Tommy Reese went to Alabama officially first week of February, right? Help me out, guys. What was like February 3rd, something like that, if I'm not mistaken? February 3rd. The end of January. Hold on. The end of January. Tommy Reese spent multiple days in Chicago while he was still the offensive coordinator. This was like January 20-something, like the days leading up to the end of the open period. Tommy Reese stayed in Chicago for multiple days, making connections. Working Chicago for both sides. And y'all want to sit up here and trumpet the DC at one game and Al Washington driving down to Dan Ryan posting something on IG one time. The most important defensive recruit in your class, 70 miles away, and y'all want a standing ovation because of one trip during the open period. One. And the OC is in a hotel for multiple days, hitting the pavement in Chicago. And y'all want a cookie for that. And people are trying to defend y'all. It's a joke. It's embarrassing. That's what it is. It's flat out embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And that's why I love being detached in a way from the actual school. And we can keep it funky. Because I'm not worried about not getting or not being able to talk to this person or not being able to talk to that person and having a good relation with that person. If me and Al Gold never talk, I'm doing this podcast every day. Every day. every day. So, in my opinion, the posting of that one photo further highlights how putrid the recruiting effort
Yeah.
was. Because it matches up, wait a minute, Justin Scott matches up with the defensive recruiting
Yeah.
in all of the other areas that Al Golden, the linebackers, that's Al Golden. That's Al Golden.
That's how it goes.
How, like I said, don't how. What do you think about his recruiting efforts in 24? Because it lines up, in my opinion. I don't care what pictures you post. I don't care what pictures you post. It lines up. But the OC can post up in Chicago for multiple days, and y'all cats want to clap over driving down to Dan Ryan and posting a picture at a basketball game. Whoa. Wow.
We got to be better.
You went to see Justin Scott at this basketball game. I did that. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast,
The
man.
bare minimum don't get it done now.
No. And that's why I say the math wasn't mathing.
Yeah, you can't be happy.
If you thought that was the math that was gonna get Justin Scott, see, this is, he's at Ohio State because of NIL. All
We're
right.
gonna learn sooner or later.
All right.
Justin
All
Scott
right.
kicking our ass the next 3. You gonna be like, didn't he supposed to commit to Notre Dame?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Why didn't he supposed to?
Y'all, man, they really left that. They are that preoccupied about what we say that they going to get, man, they searching photos. They calling the Chicago Sun-Times. Anybody. You got a photo of Al Golden at a game so we can prove that he went to see Justin Scott. Y'all making me feel like we winning. We winning, baby. Lucky Lefty podcast. Next up, we talk about what we saw in that NC State matchup. What they did to Sam Hartman. Worst game of the year. Matter of fact, it was back-to-back games. He threw 3 interceptions against Louisville and North Carolina State. But North Carolina State showed me some things that I think a lot of teams are going to do. Lucky Lefty podcast. Lucky Lefty podcast. We're back, Left. Brought to you, by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. YouTube, smash the like button. Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFE Nation. The link is in the chat. Get in with us. Home of the Misguided Passion. You already know. We spin it different. So I watched film last night of North Carolina State against Wake Forest. And the front, I'm sure it's going to be different for different teams. But what North Carolina State did, because the strength of their defense were their linebackers and their secondary, is that they went 3-man front. They brought exotic. I don't say exotic. They just brought blitzes from different areas. Overload, both sides, up the middle. They never gave him a clear picture of where the pressure was coming from. I will say that Sam is very pocket efficient against pressure. I like that. He's very pocket efficient. I like that. That means he doesn't run out of the pocket. He stays in the pocket, tries to find the open man, and normally is very accurate in doing so. The Wake Forest receivers in this game did suffer some drops. They suffered some drops. But what North Carolina State did is they gave Sam Hartman man-to-man pressure looks, and then they played coverage behind it, and they confused Sam. Twice they got Sam on man-to-man bump and run looks out of the pressure when it was really cover two. So at the snap, Sam sees the pressure. They stay. They bump the receivers. Then they release them. And then here comes the field corner watching his eyes over the middle. And he picks him off because Sam thinks he has man-to-man. And he's trying to hit the crosser against pressure. Cover two is right there short. Pick. They got him in the first half. They got him in the second half doing the same thing. So they confused them. This is something that I think you're going to see a lot this year from defenses. Pressure, confusing the young wide receivers with different coverages to see if they know how to get open. That's going to be the frustration at some time between a young wide receiver core and Sam Hartman, who pretty much knows where he wants to go. Can the receivers get to the spots and make the plays? That's going to be key as we talk about these wide receivers and their youth.
Yeah, that's what also goes back to what is like going to identify the dog in the receiver room who can win those one-on-one press coverages. We know that Sam has an inefficiency of being a playmaker outside of the pocket, being able to extend plays. He's not going to run around and avoid rush. He's going to be able to find that extra couple seconds to stay in the pocket to find the guy down the field. So for our receivers, the challenge is who is going to be the consistent winner one-on-one on the offense on the line of scrimmage versus press man. For me, I have no idea. It could be a height thing where we have, a JT who's a bigger receiver be able to win those one-on-ones during a physical press man, or we have our quicker guys like the Braylon James of the world, like the Chris Tyrees that can be quick off the line. Either way you have it, identifying mismatches in the press man situations, knowing that Sam's not great versus the pressure, is going to be the biggest key this year. It's going to be the outlier. It's going to be the determining factor of how successful we are as an offense is how does Sam find the mismatches? How does Sam find the one-on-ones that are the winners that defenses are going to get fed up? And because think about it, we can run the football, we can throw the football, we can block, we can do anything we want on offense. So for a defense, they're going to be like, we're going to force the offense to make plays. How do you force this Notre Dame offense to make plays, make Sam uncomfortable, make Sam throw one-on-one routes versus receivers that are unproven? That's a proven way to success, in my opinion. Because, hell, I don't know who Sam's going to throw to. Does Sam know who he's going to throw to? We have an inkling of who it could be, a Chris Tyree at Tobias, a freshman Jordan Grayhouse or whoever, but Deion Cosley, hell. But we have no idea who Sam is going to go to in these pressure situations, and that's what's going to be important moving forward is who's going to be the dog one-on-one versus press man, and who is Sam going to trust moving forward.
This is the challenge to the wide receivers, right? We can talk about talent. You got to do it you have to do it during the game. The practice is fine. You know the set, you know the defense, you know what they're doing, the script, all of that's fine. When a team comes out and they have a game plan and they've scouted and watched the North Carolina State game, the Louisville games, and they have NFL talent up front to be able to stymie the run and pressure you outside and make things difficult, those young wide receivers and unproven wide receivers have to make plays. That's that. That's that. Joe Alt and Blake Fisher were part of that offensive line that struggled in the middle of that game against Ohio State. They struggled to consistently protect. They struggled to consistently run the ball against the same two guys that are projected to be first-round picks in the NFL draft. As we said, there were plenty of opportunities to make big plays. Tyler Buckner and the receivers did not connect. Sam Hartman and the wide receivers will have the opportunity. If they connect, everything will be great. If they don't, there will be some problems. It's as simple as that. We're just pointing out to you what gave Sam Hartman troubles last year. And it was pressure with mixed coverages. And he had a veteran wide receiver core at Wake Forest. No, he doesn't have the running game that Notre Dame had. But heck, second half against Navy, when they went full pressure man-to-man in different coverages, I understand it was Drew Pine. Where was that running game? What was that running game? You see, we propose questions that need serious answers as we prepare to watch fall camp 3 weeks away. This is how you preview. You give not only the positives, not only the promise of the talent of the wide receiver room, but what level do they need to get to and be at when September 23rd shows up on the calendar? Will the DC for Ohio State have a little more respect for Sam Hartman than he did Tyler Buckner in his first start? I would probably say so, Lef. Will he have respect for the Notre Dame wide receivers? No. Because they haven't proven anything. Sam Hartman has proven some things. So he might not pressure Sam Hartman as much as he wants to. He might wait for later in the game. But man-to-man pressure on the wide receivers, yes, you can fully expect that. Fully expect it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you can fully expect it because it's the easiest thing you can think of when defending Notre Dame. You rather sell out on the run than sell out on the pass. And I think that's just the blueprint for defending Notre Dame until Sam Hartman proves different. So if I'm TSU or if I'm Navy first game of the season, TSU second game of the season, I'm selling out on the run. If Sam Hartman throws for 400 yards, then I would walk across that field and shake his hand. He beat us today. But I'm not going into the Notre Dame game naive, thinking that I'm going to just let the run game be whatever it wants to be. Mm-hmm. I'll be a fool. You don't deserve a Division I college opportunity to coach defense if you think that the Notre Dame offense is going to neglect the run game in the first two games of the season. So Sam Hartman is going to have to prove that that's the Sam Hartman from Wake Forest, at least in the first half of the season, if we want any chance of getting a different look from the opposing defense.
And also in that game, Wake Forest, remember I asked you that question offensively left? You go into a game against a good defense, knowing that a good defense is going to take something away, like good defenses do, and force you to beat them another way. Wake Forest was traditionally a 50-50 run-pass team based upon their stats last year. When they went into that North Carolina State game, they didn't even try to run the ball, left. They didn't even try. They were like, look, we're not going to be successful doing this. We're not about to bang our heads, getting 1 or 2 yards. Every now and then we'll try to sneak a run on them and be successful. They didn't even try, left. They didn't even try. Notre Dame, as you said before, I don't think Notre Dame is going to be that undisciplined going into these matchups. Notre Dame is going to try and run the ball. They're going to try and run the ball. These wide receivers have to make plays, ladies and gentlemen. Because what excuses do they have? There's no excuses. The Notre Dame receivers have to make plays this year. They have to. It can be collectively. Hopefully we see someone come to the forefront. But in order to win in the biggest games, Notre Dame receivers are going to have to make plays. And we can't use a quarterback as an excuse. Not this year. Someone earlier said Ian Book would have beat Ohio State last year if he played. Ian Book in big games never pulled the trigger. So I don't know about that. But hey, Super Chat. Lilo Galante, we appreciate you. Drove my daughter down to UGA Athens to drop her off for UGA Women's Elite Soccer Camp. That's what's up. The UGA campus is non-impressive, to say the least. It's probably in the country like red clay, real Georgia, like good weather. I've never been to Athens. Have you? Did you play in Athens? No, you guys played in Jacksonville when you played.
We
there,
played.
right?
We gave the biggest cocktail party in the country. Is Florida. So no, I didn't get a chance to play in Athens, but it's probably a crazy college environment. You know how when you're in the middle of nowhere, you tend to put a lot of effort into making it an intimidating spot like South Carolina. Middle of freaking nowhere, but the stadium is built real nice. I can tell that it's something that's an intimidating factor. It was pretty cool to play there as a game environment, but you're not. It is what it is. Georgia's gonna give you what they give you, but I was fortunate to play in a neutral site in Jacksonville Stadium, my favorite stadium growing up.
Yeah, Truman Dumel with Super Chat. We appreciate you, my brother. Is there a sleeper in the wide receiver room? Someone who's a Lamar Chase type? Or Jamar Chase type. I assume you meant Jamar Chase.
I don't think we have one this year, but I do think that we got enough of the right pieces for somebody to carve their own type of lead top dog in that receiver room that's gonna make some headway, man. I can't quite put a finger on it.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
So, this is our preview of the Notre Dame wide receiver room. It is extremely talented, and what Chancey Stuckey has done and what he continues to do, even with the recent recruiting loss of Isaiah Canyon, he's done a tremendous job in improving the abilities, the talent, and the capabilities via coaching and recruiting in a short time. He's been here just over a year. And when I tell you it's a full 180 in stark contrast from what that wide receiver room was before he got here, Chancey Stuckey deserves a pretty good hand clap, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see until the season shows up. I still want to see
that. That's what I'm saying. Now, with all of that being said, as left as you would put it, left, it can look pretty coming to the table. But if the steak is rough, I don't care how it looks.
Yeah.
Now, when it's time
See,
to cut
as you
into
get
it,
older, you realize that well done isn't the way steak's supposed to be eaten.
woo, come on, because
Yes,
the steak is still cooking
it's still good.
as you bring it to the table.
That's right.
Go left. Go ahead, left. You about to preach. Let me hit the organ right quick. Let me hit the organ.
No,
I
you
got you.
had it. You
I
had
got
it.
you, left. I got you.
Because
I just knew where you were going. Go ahead, left.
we think the well done is the way to eat it. No, wait a minute. Chancey Stuckey said, listen, this thing gonna cook as it's going on. I'm gonna start the fire. I'm gonna let it go, and it's gonna develop. It's gonna go from rare to medium rare to medium to well done. It's a progression. It's a stage. You can't just you see how Ruth Chris do it. Ruth Chris put it on 500 degrees. So when it come out to you, it's sizzling and it got all the like. Remember Applebee's with the fajitas? How Applebee's come to tell you that the fajitas when it's smoking. You would think, oh man, it must taste something different. And that's what Chancey's trying to do. He's trying to give you the Applebee's presentation. Coming off the fajita. You like, oh, this top quality.
You tuning, boy. You tuning.
Because you know what happens? Everybody gonna look around like, what they order? They gonna turn around and be like, what's that sizzling in the background? I got the chicken Alfredo. I'm hearing this sizzling that's causing a commotion. That's Chancey Stuckey right there. Applebee's fajitas. Got the whole place turning around like, what is that? That's what we turn the Notre Dame offense into. Because without the sizzle, without the smoke, without the fire, people treating our Notre Dame receiver room as standard. They said there ain't no USDA ground beef. That ain't no USDA filet mignon. Chancey Stuckey came into this thing and said, listen, I'm putting that fajitas Applebee's sizzle on that Notre Dame room. And this is what's going to happen. Because it's not about what you put out there. It's about the presentation. And that's what we're going to learn as a Notre Dame unit is the presentation, the way we put it out on the field with the release packages, with the routes, with the technician, with the no YouTube. You're not going to be able to go on YouTube and find the way Notre Dame receivers is running these routes. Because Chancey Stuckey has laid the groundwork for these receivers to do the right thing. And we got the catalyst. We got the Sam Hartman in the building. What do they say about the mad scientist? He just turned that catalyst up and them chemicals start to cook together. Sam Hartman is the waiter of the Applebee's fajitas. You've been waiting around for your drinks because you know the Applebee's service ain't A1. But this waiter in particular, he said, let me stall them out. Because that presentation with the Applebee's fajitas gonna shut the place down. And that's what Sam Hartman is doing. He's presenting the Applebee's fajitas where the crowd is going to turn heads. And what they thought wasn't the Ruth Chris beef and steak is the Applebee's fajitas taking over the whole place. You thought Ruth Chris steak was good? Wait till you had these Applebee's fajitas presented by Sam Hartman. It turns JT into a Biletnikoff finalist. It turns Braylon James and Jordan Grayhouse into freshman All-American. It turns the receiver room into an intimidating factor. Chris Tyree up for awards. Chris Tyree buzz about first, second round. How? This is Applebee's fajitas. 2 for $20. This the coupon. This the deal. This the finesse. We're not spending premium. This ain't the 5-star filet mignon right now. This the Applebee's fajita special with the sizzle and the smoke and fire. That's why Sam Hartman isn't the savior, because he's the Applebee's waitress. You're not tipping an Applebee's waitress more than what they deserve. But when that smoking fire come out and he turning heads as he's walking down with the margaritas in one hand and the Applebee's fajitas smoking and sizzling in the other, you were going to pay him more than what he deserves. Because that's what he's bringing his presentation. He's not bringing the solution, because the solution is the Wagyu steak. You can't get that at Applebee's. We don't got no Wagyu steak in that receiver room. That's Applebee's fajitas with a presentation. And that's Sam Hartman. He's just a 9-to-5 guy. He's not a hedge fund owner, a CEO on his spare time. He's working Applebee's to survive. So when it comes to presenting that Applebee's steak and fajita sizzling platter, he's going to deserve them tips. He's going to deserve them tips. Because guess what? He couldn't get into Ruth Chris. You know, where they got the suit and tie with the apron and the hat. He couldn't get into Ruth Chris. He had to come to Applebee's with the fajitas smoking.
The league wasn't ready to let him in, dog.
I'm telling you. And because of that, it's going to change the family night experience into a 5-star restaurant. And that's why Sam's a 4-tier quarterback, because he's the Applebee's waitress with great presentation. Everybody in this chat, in this podcast, has been to a subpar restaurant by commercial standards. Your Denny's, your IHOP, your Waffle House, your Applebee's, your Outback. But every now and again, you get a great waiter that changes your experience at the restaurant. This is not just a casual Applebee's visit. This waiter got some jokes. He know how to come back and serve your drinks the right way, refill it without you asking. Get you the extra silverware, get you the plastic silverware, because he knows that the quality of the busboys at Applebee's not gonna get it done. So he already got the plastic silverware on standby. You don't gotta ask for it. He got it in his little pouch. He got the straws on deck because he knows that the cups are dirty. And anybody with sense knows that you're not putting your lips on the Applebee's cup, because the man did his homework. This is veteran experience that you're bringing into Applebee's. You're not bringing in the guy that worked at Steak and Shake for his first job. This is not Sam Hartman working as a 14-year-old at Steak and Shake. He's an experienced customer server. So he's working at the big dog Applebee's. And this is where we get the greatness, is because we can take an average guy, just a waiter at Applebee's, and make that presentation A1 to where you think you at Ruth Chris. And that's what Sam Hartman is for us. So that's what we got to really, really, really dig deep into. I don't know where Shaun went, but it's the truth.
You know what I feel like? We have to end that, you have to end that with a musical selection when you get preaching like that right here on a Friday night, Lucky Lefty podcast. It just makes me think about an old time song that they used to sing back in the day that I think is going to touch the hearts 35 years in to this desert. I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Oh, I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Second verse. Check it out. Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
He told me
He
everything's
got the
gonna
right
be
rate.
all right. Yes, sir.
He ain't
Marcus
got the right
Freeman.
waiter. Because you
He
know how you
told
go
me
to some
everything's
restaurants and
gonna
they
be all right. Hey, Marcus Freeman. He
they
told
be
us
like,
everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all
some
right.
waiters,
Be all right.
some waiters be like, hey, you can read the menu, it's right in front of you. But you got them customers that's gonna ask what's good here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're gonna ask them customers what's good here.
Open the doors of the church and bring some more fans in here. Come on, Left.
And you know Marcus Freeman, he had a waiter that got an attitude when you ask what's good at the restaurant. Because what's Tyler Buckner gonna tell him? What's Tyler Buckner been telling these customers that don't know what's good? He be like, it's right there on the menu. You can read it right there. We got the specials every Tuesday, every Friday. We got the drink specials. It's right there. But you know, he said, you know what? I got to upgrade my service at the restaurant. Because the food may not be upgraded, but the service can be accommodated for the customer. So he told his young waiter, Tyler Buckner, I'm getting a waiter that's better. From them fancy restaurants. Let's got to wear suits and ties when they taking the order. I'm getting a guy, and you don't have to worry about it because he's going to come into Applebee's and change Applebee's service. So he brings the guy in, Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman, like, before he even get to the table, he's telling the people, hey, I got a potato soup on special. Getting the interest in. He said, we love the steak at Applebee's, but the steak fajitas is something of a spectacle. It's an experience. There's a reason why it's not on the 2 for $20. See, Tyler Buckner couldn't explain why the steak fajitas wasn't on the 2 for $20, why the baby back ribs wasn't on the 2 for $20, because it's about the details. You gotta be in the game for 5 to 6 years to know that the 2 for $20 isn't for the riblets. Because them riblets is special. The steak fajitas with the presentation and the experience is a $25 meal. It can't fit on the 2 for $20. This is why he got to bring in the Sam Hart. He got to make the menu look more special than what it is. He got to have the knowledge, how to the presentation. You can't bring these rookie waiters in that don't know the menu more than the customer. They can't sell it. Sam can sell it. He done been to the butcher. He done been to the McDonald's. He done been to the Wendy's. He done been to Subway, Chipotle, and he landed back in Applebee's. We went from a 3.5 to a 4.8 on DoorDash because of Sam Hartman and that customer service. It's still Applebee's. It's still that steak fajita that sizzles. But it's the presentation in which we got it. And that's where Sam Hartman is, man.
Yo, it's Friday night. We spend it different, baby. I don't know about y'all. We talk Notre Dame football. We have fun. We spend it different. We ask the questions and pose the questions nobody else is willing to do. You know, because they don't want to mess up the connects in the build and all of that. No, this is what it is. It's about the fans. We're here for you. We break it down. We spend it different. Audio edibles every day. Apple Podcasts and Spotify on CFE Nation. LuckyLeftyPod.com is live right now. Merch on the way each and every week. And we got plenty of it coming. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats. We're getting you ready for the season. It's going to be all right, Notre Dame fans. It's going to be all right. Going through some tough times right now. But it's going to be all right. You killed it with that Applebee's, bro. I'm gonna keep it funky. I had to let you cook tonight. Man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Coach Vic, we gonna have you, bro. I'm a big boy myself, so we gotta have big boy sizes.
Yeah, we gotta have a big boy side.
You gotta represent. We have super chats we need to get to. Truman Dumel, who's our best wide receiver on Notre Dame football, either recruit or current, and break down their skill set. My personal preference is Rico Flores from watching practices. His route running ability, sneaky speed, just a thick lower body, man.
Yeah.
Thick lower body, thicker than you would think until you see him in person. Thank you for the super sticker, Eric Spadell. We appreciate you. Michael Graves says, my offering for the sermon. Left, you brought it tonight. And then Michael Graves, once again, all right now, talk Malik. Yeah. Yo, we hope you enjoyed our season preview for the wide receivers on this Friday night. Special guest, former Notre Dame linebacker, Derek Curry. Derek Curry joins us Monday right here to preview the Notre Dame linebackers. So if you have questions about the Notre Dame linebackers, have those ready for DC Curry. Former Notre Dame linebacker Derek Curry will be right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast on Monday. DC will definitely be in the house. Thank you for joining us tonight. You already know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Now, you know what? I might have to take a ticket back. Because yesterday, the security guard for Wemby, I was just kind of like, come on, man. You know. But now video reports, a video has shown in the police department out there in Vegas said no charges will be brought up because on the back slap, the security guard actually made contact, but the contact made to Britney Spears' face was via her own hand, according to video evidence. This is what's being reported. So, hey, let me tell you something. They had witnesses that said they heard a smack, you know, all over the news last night. It wasn't looking good. And I was like, yo, Wemby, tell your man to get a lawyer. But video evidence has cleared the security guard. It's still not, usually I know you want to keep going forward, but it's still not a good idea just to swing backwards at people. It's just not. And Britney Spears, man, you need to do a better job of announcing who you are, and maybe people will give you a little bit of time. Coach Vic, I'm sorry, bro. That's bad baseball that myself and you will be watching a guaranteed rate this weekend. It just is. Cardinals, White Sox, bad baseball. I begged the Cardinals to come in and take 2 out of 3. so this front office can finally decide to trade some of these pieces and make this team better. And we'll just build around Luis Robert moving forward. It is what it is. It's bad baseball. Even you know that, Coach Vic. They put both of these teams on the petty train. Both of them. Because it's been bad watching both of them. I know you're frustrated. I'm frustrated. It's absolutely crazy. I see a lot of you guys have been talking about Wemby not being impressive in Summer League. It is what it is. You know, give him an opportunity. Monday's show, Ryan Loftus, DC is going to join us right at 11 o'clock. That's the time that he sketched out. He runs multiple businesses. He's a busy man. And he said Monday it has to be at 11, but he's going to give us 30 great minutes to really dig into his time in Notre Dame and really break down the linebacker position and preview the linebackers and help us. So it's going to be great. Join us. Derek Curry, former Notre Dame linebacker, will be with the Lucky Lefty podcast Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time. 11 a.m. Central Time. All right? Man, we love you guys so much. Thank you for always supporting, continuing to support. And as always, as you said, we're going to continue to keep it all the way funky and 100 because we do it for you. We do it for you. LL Nation and Notre Dame fans. Regardless of whether we agree or disagree, we're going to have the fun conversation. That's something we're definitely going to do. We love you guys. See you Monday for another edition of the Lucky Lefty podcast. Have a great weekend, but most of all, make sure that you spend it different.